Okay, so my computer died on the first video, so this is just kind of finishing up our notes for our linear equation word problems. So one kind of piece of information that we learn, you should have been exposed to at middle school math by now, is the sum of the angles in a triangle or a rectangle and similar. So in a triangle, we know that all three angles have to add up to 180. So it says find the measures of the angles of the triangle if the angles are represented by x, 4x, and 4x. Meaning this is angle 1 is x, this is angle 2 is 4x, and this is angle 3 is 4x. And so what we know is that the sum of all of those angles have to add up to 180 degrees, or that altogether 9x has to add up to 180 degrees, which dividing by 9 gives me x equals 20. Now remember, we have to make sure to respond to the original question. So the original question is find the measures of the angles of a triangle. So if x is 20 and the first angle is 20, the second angle is 4x and the third angle is 4x, then I have one angle in my triangle is 20 degrees, the other angle is 80 degrees, and third angle is also 80 degrees. Okay, those are the three angles in a triangle if the angles are represented by x, 4x, and 4x. The other application problems that we sometimes see where we can set up an equation similar to this one is with perimeter. So this is perimeter of a rectangle, and as I was saying at the end of the last video, is perimeter is just adding up all of the sides around any figure. Could be an odd-shaped figure or a regular polygon like a rectangle or an octagon. But perimeter, we're always just adding all of our lengths all the way around to find the perimeter of an object. So it tells us that the total perimeter is 24 inches. And it says find the dimensions if the length is 3 inches greater than the width. So again, just like in the other video where I said kind of the biggest hint you can give yourself is call something x and then use that to identify the other aspects in the word problem, and then that's how you can build your equation. So if you notice, the length is being related to the width. So if I call the width of my rectangle x, then the length is just 3 inches greater than the width. And then it's a rectangle, so if this is x, then this is x, and if this is x plus 3, then this is x plus 3. And so in terms of perimeter, there's two ways that I could write it. I could either write like a string of all of those sides. So I could say I have x plus 3 plus this side, which is x plus 3 equals 24 inches, which then I can say, okay, so I have 4 x's plus 6 equals 24 inches, or 4x equals 18. And then divide by 4, and x equals 18 fourths, or 9 halves, okay? That is one way that something seems off to me there, so I was looking it over. But I have 4 x's, 1, 2, 3, 4, right, and I have 6 equals 24 inches, so x equals 9 halves. We'll go back to that in a minute. That's one way to write my equation. The other way to do is I could say I have 2 sides that are x, plus I have 2 sides that are x plus 3. That add up to 24, and then on that I would be distributing in this half, but I'd still end up with 2x plus 6 equals 24, or 4x plus 6 equals 24, and so on. If x equals 9 halves, or why don't we go ahead and call that 4.5? So that means that the dimensions of my rectangle would be 4.5 inches here, and on this side 4.5 plus 3, or 7.5 inches here. And so answering the original problem, I can say it's 4.5 by 7.5 inches are the dimensions of my rectangle. Okay. Okay, last application problem. So the instruction for a woodworking project calls for 3 pieces of wood. The longest piece must be twice the length of the middle-sized piece. The shortest piece must be 10 inches shorter than the middle-sized piece. You have a board that is 70 inches long and you wish to use. How long must each piece be to use the total length of the board? Okay, so remember that hint, find something to call X. So if you notice, the long piece is related to the middle-sized piece, and the shortest piece is related to the middle-sized piece. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to call the middle side length X. And if I call the middle length X, then I can write an expression for the short length and the long length. So the longest piece must be twice the length of the middle-sized piece. Twice the length of the middle-sized piece. The shortest piece must be 10 inches shorter than the middle piece. So 10 inches shorter, 10 less than the middle-sized piece. You have a board that's 70 inches long. So the short piece, oops, let me restart. The short piece plus the middle piece plus the long piece has to add up to 70 inches, okay? And all together that gives me 4x's, subtract 10 equals 70, or 4x equals 80, and x equals 20. Remember, we're not done when we solve for a variable. We have to go back and solve for our problem. So what is the length of each board? The middle piece is just going to be 20 inches. The short piece is 10 inches less than that, or 20 minus 10. The short piece is 10 inches. And the long piece is 2 times the middle length of the times the length of the middle piece, which gives me 40 inches. And 40 plus 20 is 60, plus 10 more is so the 70 inches that we had to cut. Okay, so remember to go back and answer the actual question when you're done with your word problem.